That one? Okay. Hola, muy buenas tardes. Me llamo Dumashi Amable. Ah, hoy es el espejo. Reflections on the community and change. La comunidad y cambie ahora en Minnesota. Bienvenidos a Desahogamiento. Hoy we are holding up the espejo, the mirror to our community. We often spend so much time looking at the world around us, trying to fix things, trying to move mountains. But sometimes the most profound work begins when we look at our own reflections. Recientemente fue una operación Metro Surge y ahora es el tiempo por la comunidad para reparar nuestra comunidad, por el gente, todo el gente que estaba en la línea de Metro Surge y otra gente que está viviendo en este país todo de nuestras vidas. Porque en Metro Surge fue un peligro casi de la verdad de una guerra aquí en nuestra ciudad. So, coming back here, when we talk about desahogamiento, we're talking about that release, that letting go of the weight, of the heavy emotions that we carry. Sometimes that release starts with self-reflection. Although there were people who were on the front lines protesting Operation Metro Surge, some people stayed in their home. And I think at this time, we have a moment to reflect together, el espejo, the reflection on what happened then, slow it down, el tiempo, y think about where we were and what we were doing when we saw the news or when we were a part of the news. There's a famous quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and he said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And that comes back to el espejo today, the reflection, because if we are the change makers, ¿cómo se dice una palabra por una persona que cambiar en el mundo? It's something to think about. So if I want to be a light, será un luz por la comunidad, I need to be a change maker. I necesito que hacer paz en mi comunidad. Y pienso que es un poquito trabajo o es una muy grande trabajo. Es dependiente en el tiempo que lo tengo. And it sounds simple. Es fácil. Cambie o no cambie. Pero no es fácil. No es fácil. It is deeply complex. To be the change, we must first recognize who we are in this moment. Like I said before, what are our fears? Nuestros miedos. What is our resilience? And what is our capacity for growth? Now, when we talk about growth, we can talk about all different layers. And as I mentioned before, I am in the El Mundo de Trabajo Sociale, social work world. So our capacity for growth really depends on how we can see ourselves in our different environments. Estoy aquí, estoy allá, estoy aquella. Where am I? Am I here? Am I there? Or am I way over there? And that can be spatial or it can be metaphorical. You know, am I here in this moment and being present with the people around me? Or am I over there and I'm thinking about maybe time at this el tiempo, el pasado. Estoy allá en el pasado. Los dos a la misma tiempo. I'm in two places at the same time. Mis pensandos son en el pasado con Metro Surge, pero ahora mis pensandos está aquí con la salud de la comunidad. So it's important to reflect el espejo. to reflect on where we are in different existence, our thoughts, our body, and then the environment around us, nuestro lugar. So coming back again, so we're thinking about reflecting, being the change we wish to see in the world, and then being a light in the world, una luz per mundo. So this brings me to navigating adjustment. This is a very popular topic in social work right now, not just for Operation Metro Surge, because I think we're all still trying to find our footing, whether or not it affected us personally or affected someone that we love, un vecino, un compañero de trabajo, una estudiante en nuestras escuelas. We were all affected by this, some way more than others. So adjustment disorder is actually in the DSM-5. Worth a Google if you don't know what it is, but that's how mental health professionals help people find diagnoses so that they can heal and grow for self-knowledge. And then in our community, we are constantly navigating transitions, the economy, politics, shifts in social justice, all of these different areas. And then on an individual level, new jobs, new challenges, new environments, new relationships, trying to achieve that growth that I mentioned earlier, aspiring to be a greater beacon of hope in the community, getting more education. And adjustment disorder is a real valid response to these various life stressors. And life stressors we can see them coming, or they can come out of nowhere, or we can put stressors in our lives because we want to grow. It's that feeling when the change feels too fast, too heavy, or too overwhelming. It's in these moments that we can be the change that we wish to see in the world. And it's important also to understand the stress, right? It's normal to feel off. A lot of people reflect, they say, en mi espejo, no soy la misma persona que estaba ayer. I don't know who I was yesterday, pero ahora pienso que tengo buenos pensandos, pero en el futuro, no sé. I don't know. But we have a path forward. Recovering isn't about snapping back to who you were before. It's about integrating your new reality with your internal strengths. Tu fuerte de tu cuerpo, tu fuerte de tus pensandos y tus emociones. No está rota, pero es difícil a veces para to adjust. Somos gente. Yo soy una persona y tú estás una persona y hay gente en todo de la comunidad. Y cada persona tiene otra vida. Pero me parece que soy un mundo, ¿sí? In the most ideal sense. And then when we're thinking about, there's another famous quote, and I can't remember at the moment who said it because it just came to mind. But there's a quote and it says, destruction breeds creation in the ideal sense. So although we may be broken right now, some of us are repairing. You know, el mundo no está rota en total. Tenemos, es una esperando, pero tenemos el fuerte que para continuar nuestras vidas después de the destruction, because creation can happen. So for those of us, especially here in the Twin Cities, this has left a mark on our collective psyche. The impact. Nuestra seguridad y our sense of belonging were disrupted by large-scale operations and systemic pressures. And our community is experiencing a form of collective trauma. Recovery from this requires us to lean into our support systems. Maybe you didn't think of your neighbor who has a wife and several children who came here, maybe from South America somewhere. Maybe you checked in on them during Metro Surge, or maybe you didn't, and maybe you're wondering. But maybe this is the conversation starter that you could have. Introduce yourself. Look up a little Spanish online, or maybe find another language of someone who might have been affected by Operation Metro Surge. We must move into from a state of hypervigilance back to a state of connection. So connect with the people around you. Even if you're American and you've grew up here your whole life, still check in with your neighbors. And then as we reflect, let us ask this question. Tengo muchas preguntas cada día. How do we show up for our neighbors? How do we hold space for each other's fear without letting it paralyze us? Tengo muchas preguntas cada día con cada persona que I interact with. Y a veces mis preguntas están en español. Y no sé por qué. Why is this? Pero a veces pienso que, does this person speak any other languages? Después de estaba aquí en la semana pasada, I visited some friends con mi iglesia y hay gente nueva allá. Y me pregunta a estas chicas que hablas español, y las chicas ve con each other, and then they looked at me and they said, yeah, we speak Spanish. How did you know? I said, I don't know. I just thought maybe you did. And they're like, yeah. And I said, check out this podcast of Minnesota Latinx Radio. This is what I talk about. I would love to talk to you sometime about, what you think about the community and Desahogamiento. And they found it very thought-provoking, and they thanked me. And so I would ask you, as you're thinking about being a reflection of the world and wanting to be the change you wish to see in the world, to slow down, right? Respiras and ask yourself, ¿cuál es mi espejo ahora? What is my reflection right now? And who am I in relation to the people around me right now? How can I be a light for the world? Un luz por mundo. How can I be el cambio por mundo? You don't have to carry it all today. Look into that espejo. Offer yourself grace and know that your community is resilient because you are resilient. Gracias por tu tiempo hoy con Desahogamiento. Until next time, keep reflecting and keep moving forward.